If you also recall in different sections, like I said, through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you might recall a section where he talks about that the sick is the one that needs a physician, and that the ones that are well do not need a physician. And if you think about it, basically, yes, that's kind of a good illustration of what Jesus was trying to do during his time on earth. Now, if you also think about it, when he was crucified, when he died, which it was after the Passover, when they had to have the Passover, and probably it might talks about in the Bible, or if you read historical books or watch documentaries or the film, it might talks about that they had, just his few disciples and him had Passover. I basically think they probably had more than just the disciples, and they probably had a lot of people, and basically they all had to, do Passover, because at that point in time, if you think about it, I think Passover is before Easter time, and when Jesus was crucified on the cross, it was a Friday, and they had to take him down early Saturday morning, because if you remember, the Sabbath day is one of the commandments. So they did. So it was done before the Sabbath day, Easter time, when they decided to go and take his body. And there was a king who let Jesus have his tomb so it could be buried. And then all of a sudden, 3 days pass by, and the stone is being moved, and Jesus is finally have risen from the grave, or from death, the dead. And basically, as the ladies were going to, I think it was Mary Magdalene and Mary, whoever the women were, they went to anoint the body, but the body wasn't there. So all of a sudden, it seems that they were looking for Jesus, and all of a sudden Mary Magdalene sees him, according to historical documentaries. And then he tells Mary Magdalene to tell his disciples that he has risen. But during that time, if you think about it, during that time, women were not to be trusted. You couldn't believe what women say. But all of a sudden, as you watch the films about Jesus, you see he goes to his disciples, and I think it was Thomas who didn't really believe. So Jesus said he could touch, his hands, put where the holes were. Because it seems that when he came back, his spirit came back into his body. And then all of a sudden, once he was transitioned into heaven, then it looked like his spirit had left